All right, looks like we are live. What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome y'all to another edition of the Reseller Six Pack. This is episode 22. I'm Andy, the ParrotHead Picker, and tonight we're going to talk about learning from our mistakes, and maybe as resellers, just some of the things that we've done and what we do to or what we've done to overcome them. Tonight we got a special guest on the show. Her name is Lauren Stoven. I hope I pronounced that right. And she goes by Hot Chick Thrift. Anyway, Lauren, why don't you take and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, what all you do, your specialties, and how long you've been on eBay and what have you.
Perfect. I'm Lauren. I've been reselling for about 15 years. I mostly sell clothing, but I will sell everything. I like designer clothes a lot for myself and to pick up and flip. I met a lot of these guys at the reseller rally. That's kind of how I ended up on the show. Plus, I love to watch it. So, and that's a little bit about me.
All righty. Well, yeah. Hey, definitely welcome tonight. Like I said, I know you know most of the group, and I've started to get to know you a little bit myself. So I know you're definitely a very knowledgeable person, and definitely a valuable asset to the panel for sure. So. I guess with that being said, I'm going to just kind of start off from my left and work across to the right. Everybody just introduce yourself. John, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're drinking?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I am Cincinnati Picker, and tonight I'm drinking the Alaskan Amber Ale.
Awesome. Like that artwork.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? It's a ship or something.
Awesome. Duane?
I'm Duane Hale, Mothership Products, and I'm, as usual, drinking a kind of a slurry of things. I got bush beer. I got some hard sparkling cider that because it's really gross without putting something in it. So I've been putting this kind of stuff in it to make that good. And I got Sailor Jerry over there.
Nice.
So
awesome. Mr. Lonnie, Garage Flips. How you doing tonight, bud?
Hey, guys. Hey, good, Andy. Good. Thanks for hosting us tonight, man. My name's Lonnie, also known as Garage Flips. And last week I had moonshine, and I put in the let me plug the Facebook group for the Reseller Six Pack real quick. I put a picture of my Corona in there. Last week I was drinking moonshine, a little rough, so I decided to lighten things up. I have Corona, and I'm floating the lime trying to float it on my second one, stuck in the. And I'm also trying this beer salt, this twang that Tonya sent out to all of us. So, I kind of got sprayed there. But, yeah. So, yeah, Corona Extra today.
Awesome. That's one of my favorites.
It's so light and refreshing. I mean, it
is refreshing.
It drinks like Gatorade. So, got to try not to drink the whole six-pack.
Yeah, you got to still watch it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That was me.
Who was that?
That was me.
It wasn't me.
I wish it was me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it was me. I'm trying to sell my truck, so.
What did you sell, Andy?
Yeah, I just sold a, I don't know how you can see this, but LL Bean button front shirt for $20.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
So, not too bad.
Cheers, bud.
All righty.
Andy.
Cheers.
All right, Jory, what do you got, bud?
So I'm Jory. Channel's good, use good, and I'm drinking Woodford Reserve whiskey right now with some Coke.
Nice. Awesome. Lauren, how about you?
I am drinking Crown Royal and ginger ale. I was going to do Diet Coke, but we didn't have any.
Wow.
That's a good drink there.
Holy cow. Shane, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm Shane, the Rising Rhyme Picker, and I'm drinking the always delicious Pabst Blue Ribbon. And just to throw this out there, there will be no shots of the 100% Canadian moonshine tonight. I'm a little tapped out on that. So
awesome. Mr. Hart, how you doing today?
What's up? You're not going to do my intro today?
Oh man, no.
Ronnie.
These guys put me up to it, man. I usually try to get out of it, man. They're bad influences.
Come on, you got to do it, man. You're hosting. Do it.
Come on.
See, they're bad influences, man.
Do it.
I can't tell the difference.
Oh, here we go.
See, everybody, hot pickers. You guys are terrible. Tonya, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm Tonya. My channel is Thrifty Treasures, and after my witch party last night, I'm drinking iced tea tonight, y'all.
It looked like you had a pretty late night last night, didn't you?
I did.
Oh man. All righty. So I guess we'll jump into it, and might as well just start, I guess, right off from the top. Just with some of the mistakes and stuff like that we made, and I guess everything just starts with sourcing. So maybe we'll take in first talk about some of the sourcing mistakes and stuff like that we've made right off the bat. Anyone want to start, or you want me just to put someone on the spot?
I'll start.
Oh, awesome. Go ahead.
My biggest mistake when I started out was sourcing and not looking up solds. I would look up something and think, oh, this is great, when I saw it in the store, going, oh, this is a great brand. This is going to sell for so much. And then I would get home to list it and realize that, oh, I'm not going to make very much money off this. I paid way too much for this. So definitely look up solds. Don't even go off of what you hear from other people. Make sure you look it up, because it can always change.
Awesome. Yep, definitely.
Lonnie should take that advice.
Yeah, I want to add. What'd you say?
Advice. You never look stuff up.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't. On lower cost stuff, but I do want to piggyback on what Lauren said, because I learned from John, which I wish I would have known this before, is even just looking at solds isn't enough. Because I would look at solds and I would see, oh, one sold for $89.99 like a month ago. But I'm not looking at the whole picture. I'm not looking at how many got listed, how many weren't sold, which is the thing that John does, I think. John, actually, I should probably let you talk more about exactly how you research that, the sell-through.
Yeah, so it's really quick. It's just one more step, basically. So, like, instead of hitting solds first, I hit completed, and I look at that number. Let's say it's 100 of the completed listings. Then I hit sold, and I look at that number. So if that number is like 10 out of 100, unless it's an amazing deal, I usually don't mess with it. If it's like a $5 item and it sells for 15, but only like 10 of 100 sold, that's kind of like my deal breaker there. But obviously, if I can get it for like $1 or 50 cents, I'm still going to buy it. But sometimes that's kind of a decision maker for you.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, and Angie says completed needs to be checked too. Exactly, Angie. Looking at that sell through, and then I've also heard Chad's not here tonight, but I've also heard him talk about how he looks at, when he's researching prices, he looks at active to see what the competition is going to be, because even though.
Yep.
Right.
Markets change fast, especially on some niches change really fast. Like some don't change at all, but like video games and clothing, I imagine, styles and fashions and, fads and all that, they change really quick. So looking at, especially if you're at a closeout store, like I've noticed it's like, there's a place called Dirt Cheap, and you got to be careful when you buying stuff on closeout. Because if you're buying something like really cheap, chances are, if that's a national chain, there's like thousands of other resellers around the country that are also have access to that same deal at the same time. The market could be instantly flooded, even though it wasn't flooded last week. So I like Chad's looking at actives too.
Yeah, I do that too. Like I look at the sold, get an idea of the price, what it sold for, and then I go back and look at the actives and see what stuff is going for. Especially with the books, because, a lot of times with books, people will offer free shipping. So I want to make sure that I'm going to come in at the lowest one so I can get that item sold fast.
Yeah, it's really important just to look at the whole picture. I mean, for sure. I mean, you got to look at your whole market. like everybody's been saying, completed, active, and what has sold, because there are many times that I'll find something and it's like, okay, it's like Lonnie said, it sold for $90. Okay, the sell-through rate's about, $30 or 30%, which is pretty good. For me, it is. And then I'll go and look at actives and there's, 800 listed. And it's like, oh, well, okay. So mine's not going to be at the top unless I drop the price really low. And then there's other times where you're the only one that's listing it. There's been 10, there's 2 of them are sold. There's 10, only one listed active. So at that point you can kind of, gauge your price a little bit from there. So.
Now, when you take and select completed on there, does that go back 3 months also, just like what the solds does, or does that have a longer or shorter window?
No, it's the same.
It's the same 3 months.
Yeah, it's 90 days, right?
Awesome. What about I know, like for me, like one of the sourcing things for me that one of the mistakes I used to make personally is, it seemed like especially when I was new, is I always felt that every time I went into a thrift, I needed to leave with something. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge mistake that I used to make. I guess, it took me a while to figure out that it's okay to walk away. Same with like going to a garage sale. I don't have to leave with an item at every single garage sale I go to, I guess it took me a while to learn to be a little more picky and selective instead of bringing home, coffee mugs every single time I go to the thrift store, you know what I'm saying? Just so I had something to sell.
Yeah, and you can turn into a hoarder real fast too if you don't watch
it. Right, definitely.
Almost to the point, Andy, where you can sometimes I feel like if I make, let's say I go out to 8 garage sales, and on the off chance I don't find anything, take some pride in that. Take some pride that you had the discipline not to buy anything.
Right. Yeah. I ran into that a lot myself, even this summer, because I took a lot of Fridays off this year just to devote to sourcing and to go to a lot of citywide sales. I drove out of that area, to hit some bigger sales. And there were times that, I was going to these citywide sales where there's a ton of stuff. And, you would go to 15, 20 sales in here. I haven't bought a single thing. And I'm like, man, what am I doing? But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not buying junk.
Right.
There was lots of dollar items that I could have bought and I could have flipped for $10, but my personal business model, I'm not in business to flip a bunch of $10 items that I'm picking up for 50 cents or a dollar. It just doesn't work for me. And it works great for a lot of people, and more power to them if that's their business model. But for me, it doesn't work for me. So I would leave those things. But
yeah, one of my biggest things about sourcing when I first started was thinking I knew something that I really didn't know. Not using the tools to check and make sure. I would go, when I first started, I thought, oh, Izod, that's a great brand. So I buy a bunch of them, and then I go home and I'm like, shit, they're not worth nothing. But I remember that when I was younger, that was the brand, but it became Lacoste and all kinds of stuff in there. But just thinking I knew something when I really didn't. Use all the tools that are available now, because it is so important, and there's so much out there. You shouldn't really be doing bad buys if you use all the tools that are out.
I was opposite. I used to look stuff up too much. That was my biggest problem. At a thrift store looking video games up, and I'd be like, well, I know this is worth $25. Why am I checking it? It probably hasn't changed in 3 months. And so I'd be wasting time and missing out on other things. Same at garage sales. Watch somebody buy something I want. Oh, what's this worth? What's this worth? And it's like a $2 item. You should just probably buy it. If you don't make money on it, you learn that's a product you don't buy anymore. It's a $2 mistake.
Right.
I think I did that a lot myself, especially when the Amazon Seller app came out, because it was so easy to scan stuff. And then when they went to the photo recognition, their photo recognition is so good on there. For looking stuff up. Because I know there's one of the Salvation Armies that's relatively close to me. They actually take marker and smear it into the barcode, so you can't scan the barcodes at the Salvation Army on the items. So it was really nice having the Seller app where I could just scan the front of something and the item would come up. But like I said, I found myself that I'm scanning way more things than I should.
Well, that was my biggest problem.
Go ahead, Jory.
Oh, that's it. I was just commenting. Go ahead.
Well, that's kind of just kind of piggybacking off what Jory and Andy said. There would be times I would go into a thrift store and I would spend 3.5 hours in one thrift store because I thought I had to look up every single item, and it turns out you don't. And the thing is, when I first started, I would fight with myself to look up every item or not look up every item. And that resulted in 6 storage totes of merchandise that are $10 to $15 items that I'm actually going to just take to a consignment auction and completely liquidate probably in the next week from like 2-3 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. That was the one thing nice with Duane's auction show is being able to get rid of a bunch of those items that all those
Right.
bad buys that we made early on and stuff like that. I was like, I got all these horrible buys I made. It's like, I'm putting them on Duane's auction show. So yeah, definitely. Thanks for that, Duane. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I do what I can.
You had a really good show last night. It was really good, man. I couldn't buy anything. I really wanted some of that maple syrup and stuff that Jory had. He had a lot of great items, man. He had some good stuff last night, Jory.
Yeah, I think Jory ought to go into the maple syrup because obviously everybody wanted some of that stuff. So.
Tap a maple tree in my yard, start making my own.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You just private label that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We'll never know.
Jory, you're about this far away from being Bubbles.
Oh yeah.
You want to know something crazy, Lonnie? I do have a shed outside that I mostly keep my wood stored in, but there's 2 kitties that live in the shed now. I don't know where they came from. Just stray kitties.
It could be a mix of like Julian because you have the whiskey in the glass. So
yes.
I do have my Julians here.
Good call. He just super glue that glass to you.
I might have a button-down shirt with a dragon or something on it too. I can wear if you really want.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, watching that show is hilarious. So Julian could be having a friggin' gunfight, and he still got his glass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I actually met Mr. Leahy and Randy in person.
I did
that's awesome.
too.
I was working
That's
security
awesome.
at a hip hop bar in down in Champaign, Illinois, and they did a comedy stretch there, and I got to hang out with them afterwards. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, we met Bubbles, Julian, and Ricky at a concert. They accidentally gave us backstage passes for this giant camping concert event, so we camped with all the artists and met all the Trailer Park Boys. It was pretty cool.
So were they like smoking dope and stuff or what?
Yeah, and drinking. Yeah. And Bubbles, he doesn't talk like that, but he'll stay in character when you talk to him a lot. So it's really funny. Like he'll talk normally and then he'll just say something in his Bubbles voice.
Does he have the goggles? He doesn't wear the goggles, does he?
No, he didn't have the goggles on until we saw him on stage. Then he had the goggles on and the full outfit.
Oh, wow. Man, that is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have seen the trailer they stayed in. It wasn't no Trailer Park Boys trailer. That thing was like a $500,000 RV.
Awesome. All right. So does anyone else got anything on the sourcing?
Ronnie?
On sourcing
We haven't heard
mistake?
from Ronnie.
Yeah. We'll hear Ronnie. He's mic'd out
Ronnie.
right now. He's on mute. So
You know what?
there he is.
Big thing that even I still have issues with today. I don't check over everything very well. You know, you pick something up and you're not looking at it. You're not looking if it's ripped or missing buttons or, suits are the worst because I'll check over the suit real well. But because the pants are there and then I get home, the crotch is ripped out or something. I'm like, there's certain other little things.
Quality control in general.
And in electronics, I'm just as bad. I'll pick up electronic, but the thing's right there to plug it in. I won't plug it in. I'll just walk away with it. And then I get home.
I do the same thing.
It needs to be plugged. I got to return this now. It's like, man. And they only give you electronics. They give you a very limited window of return. One used to be like 24 hours. It's like, really? 24 hours?
24 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it might be 48 hours now. I think. Let me look on the
my local Goodwill is no returns on electronics. It's just
Really?
Yeah,
it's like you have to check everything, and they don't even have like outlet strips there that you got to go find an outlet somewhere to try and test them if it's electronics. So if I pick up anything with a battery, like I usually always I check everything 100%. I'll pop the covers off right away, at least to make sure that the battery compartments aren't all jacked up and stuff, because they will not return any electronics. And I think that's a horrible policy, but it's just something that my local Goodwill does, and it's just it's terrible.
Yeah,
That Yeah,
7 days for electronics.
Yeah, we have 7 days here at Goodwill.
Yeah. And
I mean,
even
not 7 days, 24 hours for electronics. It's 7 days for clothing. My bad. I was reading it wrong.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. Yeah, we don't even on clothing. It's like, you know, a lot of times, like if I find something that's on a rack that's got a hole or whatever, I'll take it up front. Now I'll go in there a day or two later, and the sucker will be sitting right back on the rack again. They'll stick it right back out there. I don't know why they do that, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, so it's, yeah, you gotta be really careful. And yeah, like what Ronnie said, you know, I mean, yeah, I miss stuff still all the time. You know, like especially on dress shirts and stuff like that. I'll find something that's, you know, one little button's missing, or it'll have a hole on the back side of a sleeve or something, you know, crazy. But
not only that, but I swear the Goodwill lighting is so shitty that when you come home, you're like, oh my gosh, there's like 12 things I missed because I couldn't see it in there. I mean, serious.
Well, and we're not too far away from each other, and my Goodwills will post signs like some of them will say no returns at all. Like you can.
Oh, so yours actually has. So yeah, yours actually has. I see. Mine doesn't even have signs. It's all like.
In the last 3 months, I've probably redonated 25 shirts because of holes, 25 pieces of clothing or more.
So you just
I
donate
have
them.
no returns.
You just donate them back.
If they're really bad, yeah. If they're not, I'll sell them locally.
Oh.
And I'll of course disclose like if it has a small hole, unless it's like a super vintage shirt, then I'll list it with a hole, whatever, mark it. I usually take a penny and I'll put the penny beside every flaw and take a picture.
Okay.
Now I know I've done this, and I know Chad has done this because I remember his story that he he got something, he redonated it, and he rebought it. Now, I've done the same thing because he didn't remember. You know, it's like, oh, cool, I found it, and then you get home, it's like, wait a minute, vaguely familiar. And I've done the same thing on a certain couple of clothing. Because you go through, when you do clothing, you go through quite a few clothes, so I don't even think about it sometimes, and then you realize, damn it, I've already bought this once.
Yeah, I did that with the camcorder. Almost picked it up, got all excited, started looking at it. I'm like, wait a second, this isn't worth anything. I threw this in here a couple weeks ago.
Don't donate clothing any place you go to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Donate to one spot and drop everywhere else.
Well, we have to get out our warehouse. We got rid of so much, like just clothes that weren't selling and everything. I think it was like 200 or 300 pieces of clothing to a Savers to get the little stamp. You know, the guy gave us a bunch of like 30% off cards because I literally drove my excursion up and the whole back was full with stuff, and it was like, stuff's got to go. We're leaving the warehouse, and it's like, you know, and then I'm in there a week later, and I'm going, oh, well, this is interesting. I'm like, no, I donated this, didn't I? Oh, don't buy it again. Don't buy it again.
That's a good reseller mistake. Don't redonate stuff to places you shop. I actually won't. I have one Goodwill that I do not shop at, and I bring all of my redonations because I know I'm not going to pick them up again then.
Good thinking. That's the way to think right there. It's already figured out.
That's funny because I mean I thought I was like the only one that was doing this because I mean I've got burned myself, you know, like a couple of times, you know, I've redonated the stuff to my Goodwill, and then later you go through like, oh my God, you know, there's this, you know, like, wait a minute, that was my shirt. And I'm like, crap, and you know, you brought it home, and it's like, wait a minute, I brought that same. Oh, what am I doing? So yeah, now I take them to like a local charity thrift or something that I know that I'm usually not going to go to or whatever.
Y'all sound like y'all are trying to get rid of a sack of kittens or something.
3 animals.
They just keep coming back.
All righty. So anyway, I guess we'll move off of sourcing and we'll go to listing mistakes and stuff like that. Maybe some listings that you guys have run into, you know, common stuff you've done, maybe things you do different now in maybe your listing process or things, you know, what have you.
Actually, I've got one more thing to add on sourcing, if that's
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet.
When I first started, I was just buying sporting goods. This has been a long time ago, and I would buy sporting goods and take it to, you know, played against sports where I was working and making good money doing that. And I did that for probably a couple of years before I started buying other stuff. So my advice would be don't get tunnel vision. You know, always keep an open mind to find more and different things that can make you money. I mean, I'm sure I've passed up so many things over those first 2 years that I could have been making a lot of money on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Awesome.
For sure.
Oh,
Hey, Chad.
looks like Chad's popping in here.
Chad?
We got a full house.
What in the world's going on? Like,
Holy
Oh,
cow.
Dad, I mean, we're full. We can't even take any more.
This is a record for sure.
Yeah.
is that Lauren?
Awesome.
Yes.
I haven't seen you since the rally.
I know. What's up?
Oh, my.
Awesome. How you doing tonight, Chad?
Good. Good grief. Everybody's in here. Ronnie's even in here.
Would you wake up from your nap, Chad?
So, Chad, this is an endorsement for the rally, right? Like, we talked about, like, you learned things during the actual presentation, but it was the rally where I met Lauren, and a lot of us other people met Lauren, and I consult with Lauren, like, on maybe, like, what, once every couple of weeks, I'll ask Lauren a question,
Yeah.
you know? And
I like
it's awesome. So,
Yeah, I mean, guys, make no mistake. The rally, it's not about, because whenever you have something and say, okay, we have these speakers and stuff like that, it's about the speakers. But it wasn't about any of us who were speaking. It was about the idea of bringing everybody together. And that's really a pretty simple concept. And that's why we called it a rally and not a conference or something like that. And yeah, I've seen a lot of relationships blossom out of the rally. That's for sure.
yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It really is. And you don't know until you do it, right? You don't know unless you actually do it. So
Yeah, and it was scary, but it was a success.
So speaking of that, I mean, you guys, I heard you guys you're planning the next one, correct? Now, are you still looking at like close to February timeframe, or are you going to go do another summer time?
Well, we are still looking. We've got a little bit of a problem with my back if I have to have surgery. So we're kind of seeing where we're at on that. But yes, right now, all the plans are February, Orlando. So, and
Excellent.
don't expect the price to be crazy high, like $350. It ain't gonna happen.
Wait, what? We're not going to get rich off this shit?
we didn't do this in the first place to line our pockets. And
I'm not going to buy an RV with this.
no, sorry.
That's it. I'm out. I'm out. Wrong team. Mhm.
Duane, you gonna go to the rally?
I will if I can, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, we'd love to. see
We're planning on
everybody.
it. That's why I asked, is because us little guys, we don't make a lot of money, so we gotta plan way ahead to get the the plane tickets and all that stuff. So
We're gonna try. It might be hard with the little one. Trying to
I think
drive
me and
down.
Andy's talking about carpooling.
Yeah.
Right on.
If I can get Mama to agree to not come, so
Yeah, well, we're looking for it to be affordable, and I think we'll be in good shape in that area.
awesome.
I'm going to try to come depending when it is. I know that there's one weekend that I'm busy, so I'm hoping you guys don't pick that weekend of
Well,
February.
make sure you throw us that date so we can,
Okay, perfect. You guys can just work around me. It's fine.
I know.
Awesome.
Oh,
All right, Chad. Well, since you popped in here, we might as well let you throw one of your golden nuggets at us for some of the mistakes you made right off the bat, especially with sourcing and stuff like that.
oh, mistakes. Oh, this is a mistake
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it's a mistake show. God, we've all made millions of those, but
Can you give me a second to think about it? Because there's such
Oh,
so few,
Chad hasn't
so
made a
few of
mistake.
mistakes.
gotta
Oh, I got
dig
a
deep,
ton of
huh?
mistakes. And don't get you don't have to be new to make mistakes. I mean, I made a mistake 20 years into it. Probably one of my most expensive mistakes. Ronnie's got a smile on his face. He knows what's coming. One of my most expensive mistakes was letting my heart do the thinking instead of my brain. And it was with a little old lady.
Oh, the copiers.
The printer.
It was a very expensive printer. I sold it to her for $2,500, and it was well over $7,000 worth.
Wow.
And it, but yeah, she put $100 down and was going to pay me, and I never saw her after that.
Wow.
I let her take it.
Oh no.
Didn't you say, Chad, like in a previous video, she was kind of like a con artist type thing? Like she had,
There's
she
no
had
doubt in my mind now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and we had Ronnie and I know somebody who is really good at digging up crap on people, and he found out that this lady had lawsuits. She was being sued for all kinds of crap, and yeah, and it sucked, but I got my money back out of it because I paid $100 for it.
I mean, really, that's a great point, Chad. I mean, business and not about emotion, because that is a huge issue. If you put emotion into your business that isn't, like putting your own emotion, but I meant when business needs to be business, you can definitely get screwed over like you did, or you can just work yourself out of a profit.
Yeah. And you see, and not that me as a buyer and me as a negotiator, that's what I try to do, is to get in emotionally with the other person. Okay. And that'll let them kind of relax. 'Cause that's what you do. You want to get in.
You want to be personal for sure. Yeah. Personable
out of it, because business wise, that person shouldn't come down on their price. Okay. But it's the personal, and you want to try to break that line. And she got me. I mean, but she was a crook. So, but yeah.
Came in playing. What do you freaking layaway at Walmart?
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, you look back on it, it's me doing this so many years. I should have known better. And Kim told me, man, this doesn't feel right. They showed up at the house with the big moving truck. They rented a U-Haul to haul it back and everything. And
Chad, that's actually one of the things that I was going to put on my list. I didn't, but I think you just said it. It didn't feel right. I think trusting your gut, especially once you have a little experience under your belt, because it's not like this mythical thing. It's not like astrology or something else. Your gut is a result of your experience and your knowledge, and just intuition is not really intuition. It's like actually you responding to inputs and knowledge and things like that. So when you thought it didn't feel right, it's because you knew it wasn't right based on your knowledge. So failing to trust your gut is one of the mistakes that I actually put on my list, or not listening to your gut,
That is so true. And what's good is when you have two experienced people like Kim and I, her gut feeling was a lot stronger than mine. And I didn't listen to that one either. So, yeah, and it happens to everybody. You're in this business 30 years. You're still going to screw up royally. And to me, that was a royal screw up. Royal. And very expensive.
So just pretty much bottom line is just, always just treating your business as a business, all times, all costs. You mean pretty much, right?
So I can speak about a screw up I had. So last week was crazy. I was getting ready for the party and everything, real busy. And I sold a lady's blouse, and I shipped the wrong one. Yes. And so she messaged me and let me know. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I immediately sent out the right one, priority mail. And I asked her, I said, well, does the one I sent you fit? And she said, yes. And I said, just keep it. So, and she was real happy with that. And she gave me positive feedback. But I feel like that was my fault. So I was willing to spend extra money to send that to her priority mail the same day she let me know I messed up. And also to let her know that she could just keep. Oh, that reminds me, I need to make a note to take that shirt off eBay. I keep forgetting to do that. Oh my gosh.
I've done the same thing, Tonya. I'll be printing labels, for all my packages, and I'll put the wrong label on the wrong box, and then I screw up, who I'm sending it to. But I've got a system now in place. So, I feel like as long as you've got a system in place, then you can usually avoid those types of mistakes.
I was just in a hurry and wasn't paying attention. So.
I did that once with shipping. I was in a hurry. I had about 4 or 5 video games to ship on Amazon. I threw them all in bubble mailers quick, threw the bubble mailers on the table, and then stared at them and went, I have no idea which games are in which package. I open every single bubble mailer and redo it.
Oh, no. I've done that before.
Yeah. Oh, my God, that's funny. Awesome. All right, so we'll jump into maybe some listing mistakes and stuff like that. Just things when it comes to doing listings and stuff like that maybe we've screwed up. I know, like personally, one of the things that I've kind of learned is, as far as listings go and stuff like that, is things sell in off season. Like I used to hang on to like coats or like swim trunks or different things like that because I saw a lot of clothes. Like I would just figure that no one's going to want to. A pair of swim trunks in the middle of winter, but I guess I didn't realize that people go on cruises or they go and do stuff like that. Same with winter coats or whatever. That was just kind of one of the things that I guess when it comes to listing and stuff like that I kind of had learned from when I was new to now that stuff sells all times of year.
Yeah, Andy, I bought I think 15 electric blankets in July. This past July. And dude, I was like, you know what? I bought them. Screw it. I'll go ahead and list them. I know they're not going to sell till winter, but I'll list them now. I don't think I made it out of August with a blanket. Crazy?
So.
Speaking of that, Lonnie, sorry, go ahead, Tonya. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I thought, didn't we talk about this, Lonnie, that you bought some things out of season here recently and you were supposed to model them up tonight?
Oh, you mean those pink beanies? Dude, you don't. I would not do that. I like Ian a lot.
I appreciate that,
man. No, I was just teasing you, but you're right. You buy things. You may have bought it off season, but again, the seasons aren't always the same everywhere. Different places will have different seasons, or people will be looking off season to get good deals. If they know they're going to be doing something in March, then they're shopping in June or something or not June, but August. To get a good deal on that thing in March. So.
Well, listings are so cheap anyway, right? Like, I doubt most of us maximize our listings that we could have for our store level. I know I don't.
No, I don't.
So it doesn't cost me anything.
I recently had a listing mistake. It was just lack of research because I just thought I knew what I was doing. I bought, it's called a Big Muff. It's a guitar pedal effects fuzz maker. I thought it was a new one because I know what one of the vintage ones looked like. I sold it for $75, under 5 minutes. I got the cha-ching. This is just last week too. Yeah, turns out if you take the cover off and look at the little resistors in the back, there's a certain number. There's a certain number of like a number sequence on the transistors, and if it's the right ones, you have one from 1971, and it's worth about $400. That was the one I had. Sold like 2 weeks ago, so he was pretty happy to get it. I paid $1, so I still made money, but that was a piss off.
Yeah, sure.
Back when I did free shipping, I listed 2 pair of jeans at the same, like right after each other, for $4.99 each, free shipping, and I meant to put $49.99, and they sold pretty quickly, and I was like, oh wow. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, I lost money on that one. They went to the same person. I'm like, and they're like, thanks for the deal.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't care. It's like, at least it would have been worse if it was like a $300 item or something. You're like, cancel the sale. Nope, sorry, that didn't happen.
So how many of y'all had like done free shipping, and then like if you did a mix of free shipping and calculated shipping, and then best offer, and then forget that you did friggin' free shipping and then gave them too cheap of a price?
Right.
Yeah, I've done that.
Absolutely.
That's the reason.
I do that all the time.
That's the number one reason I hate free shipping.
Amen. I quit it anymore. I don't do it anymore because I screw myself every time I do it.
Wow.
Yep, no free shipping here. You pay for it.
Silver Hair Stacker says, yeah, Lonnie screwed his shipping and sent me a Harley jacket instead of a Tesla.
Well, you know what, John? When I was watching the Pulse the other night, this guy's about freaked me out because I was in and out, and I heard, and then I come back and Pete's talking about Tesla this, Tesla that. And I'm like, I put in the chat, oh, did Pete show his jacket that he bought from me the other night, right? And Pete's like, where is my jacket? And I'm like, oh no! So I double checked, and yeah, it went to his shop in Illinois. That was good. The address is right. It showed delivered on Wednesday, and I was freaking the F out. And yeah, he's got it. Thank God.
He said it was an empty box scam. He opened it up, and there was a damn brick in there.
Yeah. Pete is not the one I need trouble like that with, Chad. I promise you. But hopefully Pete has the jacket fine. He said he's got the box on his desk, according to Adrian. So hopefully we'll be seeing it on his channel soon.
Wow. On the roads again says, or you take an accepted best offer and they've slipped in free shipping in the terms, and then you accept it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
not wrong. It's not binding either.
Yeah, that one's definitely caught me a couple times. Yeah, where they'll put that in the terms. It says, yeah, this is with free shipping, and like,
y'all do know that's not binding, right? Per eBay, it's not binding.
Really?
Yeah. Per eBay, they can't do that.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
I didn't know it either until I'd probably gotten burned by it about 5 times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it catches me more on mobile, like like when I'm if I get the best offer on my phone and I'm like, yeah, because you usually don't see it, but like if I'm on my PC, it always could, you see it there right away. Usually when you're on a PC. So
yeah, every single time it happened to me, it was on my phone.
Yeah, exactly, Tonya. Same here.
But not no more. I really look now. Pay attention.
Me too.
I try to, but yeah, they still get you once in a while.
Yeah.
I've got a listing mistake. And I was just on my phone trying to take care of some stuff, so I hope somebody didn't already say this.
Oh, was it the Mary Kay?
I actually got a negative over it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The negative, the response, the negative comment on my feedback was, there is no way this thing is new. And I'm like, no, it's not new, but it was the new or used. I didn't change it to used. So he bought it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
And I gave him all of his money back and everything. And I screwed up.
That happens. Wow. Especially when you're like searching and you click list one like this or whatever. Yeah. It's really easy to overlook that. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I've done that too. And then I, used to not go into the item specifics and make sure like everything matched mine perfectly. And, then they get it and it's like, oh, it said it was this. And yeah. Yep, I've been there.
Yeah. And it was a global shipping too. So it went all the way to England and it's like, oh. I just wish you would have contacted me before. And if the guy knew how anal I am about taking care of my customers, if he would have messaged me, I would have profusely apologized, gave him his money back, asked for his PayPal address, and sent him an extra $20 for his problem. And but yeah, it happens though. It was a stupid mistake. You got to pay attention to detail when you're listing. Don't be tired listing. Don't be drunk in listing.
Oh, damn it!
Don't be stoned in listing. That pretty much
take down 200 listings now.
Yeah, I better go scan my listings. Damn it!
I mean, if you're listing, it's work, it's business, and don't be drunk. Don't be tired. It's important because that's where the mistakes are made, and they will cost you.
Yeah, me listing bulk like the same similar items once. Doing it tired. I've screwed up the picture so many times because I'll just change, the title, quick description change. I'll forget that I didn't upload the new photos for same kind of T-shirt hit list, and Next morning going down, I'm like, why is there a guest shirt on my Tommy Bahama listing? Because it's 2 in the morning and I'm listing.
Yeah. Or you get a message from, a customer or something like that says, hey, what is this? None of this makes any sense here, and you're like, oh no, I'm like going, I can't believe I just did that. And then I'll usually
I get that one a lot.
Yeah, then I usually just try and blame it on an associate or something. Oh yeah, I got a new guy that's listening for me. I'm so sorry. Thanks for pointing that out. We'll correct that right away.
Oh, you wouldn't believe how many times I've said, we're going to have some training for our employees. We're going to go back and retrain them. And yeah.
That's typically one of my favorite responses for customer service sort of things when I've screwed up. Oh yeah, we've got a new employee. I'm so sorry, man. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll get right on that right away. Whatever we can do to make things better for you or what have you, just let us know. But oh yeah, it's
well, see, and that's the difference. And I don't want to be controversial, but that's the difference. I think a lot of times between kind of the old school that's been doing it for a while and somebody that's new, because nowadays, because I see it in like the Facebook group and stuff where they're telling us and they get so defensive, and it's like, man, I would have probably, as a buyer, I would have felt the same way. So instead of just jumping up on the wall and just profusely apologizing and, looking like you're trying to take care of them and stuff, they get defensive and want to get in an argument with the customer. That's one thing I think that if you're new in this, learn to swallow your pride and, even if they're wrong, because ultimately the ball's in their hands. And what you want to do is get that ball back in your hands. And
absolutely,
swallow.
I agree with you completely. I mean, there have been many times where what I'll do is first thing when I get a complaint is look at it from their point of view. If it is true, hey, okay, yeah, I messed up or whatever. But from their point of view, I don't want to look like I'm trying to scam them. And I don't treat them like they're trying to scam me right away. If I go through a couple of steps and it's still looking kind of scammy, then it's like, okay, dude, you're done. We'll let eBay figure this out from here. But I always just try and think about it from their point of view. Hey, okay, you said it was an extra large. When I got it, it was a medium. What the hell happened? And then I'll go back and I'll look at them. Oh my gosh, I really did. I mismatched those, those sizes. Instead of going, oh my God, of course it's an extra large. I would never make a mistake.
Well, when you do feel like somebody's trying to scam, though, I think it is important. Like if you know they're being like shady, which is going to happen from time to time, don't be. I need to keep
a doormat,
but don't be too afraid of the friggin' negative. 9 times out of 10, these guys aren't going to leave a negative anyway. But you better be right. You better know. You better actually have a good feel for it. Like if you're new, you may not have a good feel for it. You might just be wrong and not even friggin' know it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be too afraid of the negative. Do the right thing, though. Right? Do the right thing.
Right.
Well, and most of the time, they're not as smart as what they think they are. Especially when they're trying to get over on you. Because this is important. If you think somebody's getting over on you, the things that you should be doing are asking questions of them, because they will slip up, and it happens all the time. Or, it could be something stupid like, they're saying, oh, it doesn't work. And you're like, well, what doesn't work about it? Because, whenever you turn this on, well, I even, opened it up and looked on the inside and it just didn't look good. It's like, thank you. Yeah, they will, what we call step on their dick. And then you got, but typically if somebody, they're just not very smart.
Well, and you also need to know when to go to bat. I mean, if it's if it's a $10 item, are you really going to argue with somebody over a $10 item? Or are you just going to, even if you know you're 100% right, I just want to have those people go away. You know, I just don't want to have to deal with their shit. So I'll give them their $10 back and go away. You know, now if it's something more willing to go to bat for, then that's a different story. But a lot of times it's just easier to cut your losses. I mean, not that eBay is bad or good against, you know, buyers and sellers. They're getting a lot better for sellers. But, you know, there are times when it's just like, you know, I don't even want to risk this. There are times as well that it's like, okay, you know what? No, I'm standing my ground here. This is bullshit.
Yeah, and I've learned to keep my mouth shut, even if it's like
You have not. When have you ever kept your mouth shut, Chad?
No, I mean, as far as, because I'll come on YouTube and say, yeah, you know, it just wasn't worth my time. I don't care. I just don't want to deal with it. And so many people are like, well, you're enabling the scammers. You're enabling. I was like, well, you know, maybe, but it's off my back. And ultimately, that's all I care about is me and my business, you know? So,
you know, the number one thing I like to do with scammers, when I think somebody's trying to scam me, is even if it costs me a few dollars, and this is rare, guys, okay? So even if it costs me a few dollars, I'm just like, send it back. Even if it's at my expense, I'll just say, send the item back. I'll refund you. And a lot of times that will curtail the scammers if you feel like you're in that kind of situation, you know?
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
But
and that's
you're not there.
Yeah, that's perfectly in your right. I mean, if they're complaining about it, hey, just send it back. You know, and like you said, probably 8 out of 10 times, you know, they don't send it back.
Okay, we got to talk about Evan now.
Yes.
I got to hold him because he's getting a bottle warmed up. So I got the baby man right now.
Oh, gosh, he's so little.
Oh, man.
He's been eating it, which is good. Now he's been fussy all day today.
So, don't you have bad days too? Come on.
Yeah.
dude, he looks wide awake. Whoa.
He's a nighttime kid, just like I was. He likes the night.
Just wait till he grows up and he sees he was on a YouTube drinking show when he was a baby.
He can drink his milk pretty quick, so it worries me.
Oh, no.
We know where he gets it from.
Yeah.
That's funny. Awesome. All right. So anyone else got any other listing mistakes or anything they want to hit on? Lauren, you've been pretty quiet.
My biggest listing mistake that I still make, actually, probably once a month, is I list in big batches. So I'll list like 50 things in a day. And I will usually once a month screw up the size. Either in my title or in my description, I will pick the wrong size of something. And I usually will realize it because someone will ask me a question and go, your title says this size, but the description says this size. Which size is it actually? So that's a big
I do
one.
that too. I mismatch
all the time.
I think that happens quite a bit, a lot. I know. I think Duane does like what I do, and you do as well. Yeah, where we batch stuff together. Yeah, you just start banging out a whole bunch of similar items, and you always get the sizes wrong. And that was kind of what I was getting at in that previous comment. You'll get somebody message you, and you're like, going, hey, this doesn't match what the tag says this, but your listing says this, so what size is it? I'm like, well, probably the size the tag says. I mean, but it's like going,
I know, right?
Andy, the ultimate listing mistake.
that was me.
Jeez, Andy.
Oh no, it was an offer. Damn it.
Andy, man, it's getting all the sales.
I got all mine this morning during the Vikings game.
Oh, mine's been just blowing up today.
Getting tons of offers during that game.
So Andy, I tell you, the biggest revelation I've had lately is actually involving listing, because I've been fooling with jeans, like low cost jeans.
Sure.
Probably average. Actually, I looked at the average 2 days ago, and the average selling price is like $16 and change per pair, plus shipping on top. Okay, so I have not always spent time. Say I'm going to shoot 50 pairs of jeans. Shoot all the photos first, and then I'm going and measure and get all the stuff written down and then go over to the PC and then list everything. I have not always been that efficient. And it occurred to me that, you know, if I can make that listing process more streamlined, more efficient, it's the same. Like if I could increase my speed of listing by double, there's no difference between that and getting twice as much freaking money for each pair of jeans.
Right.
Absolutely no difference. So when it comes to listing, I think that I haven't valued my time enough versus the dollar, because it's really the same thing. Like if I could get twice as much done when listing, then it's just the same as, you know, as increasing the selling price.
Yep.
So processes, you know, getting a good process and really being, you know, almost like Henry Ford did, right? Whenever he was doing the assembly line with the cars, and that was all revolutionary. I'm not going to make that kind of revolution here, but you know, I've been guilty of like doing, okay, I'll shoot 5 pictures and then I'll list 5 pair and then I'll go shoot 5 more. And each time you do all this task switching, you're wasting time and you're wasting money.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I get a question. As far as making mistakes with your listings and stuff, Ronnie, he may have already talked about this. How many times has one of your customers gotten something, and I mean, you totally missed a major either rip or something crazy, you know, a pair of jeans with a big split up the middle or something like that? I know it's had to have happened.
I don't think it's happened that bad. I think every once in a while you'll get a picky customer with like, oh, you know, there's this little spot and they're like taking a picture and it's literally like the, you know, the freaking pen tip, and you're like, seriously, is that where your issue is going to be? You know, and of course they're a foreign seller, and you know, I swear to God, they just drop a piece of water on there or something to make it darker and be like, oh, did you miss this? And it's like, really? Or I can't think. There was just one that just crossed my mind. I can't think of what it was now. Damn you, Chad.
You no holes in armpits or anything like that?
Oh no! You know what it was? I forgot a price tag on his shirt. But the big part is, I got it. Someone else photographed it and didn't take that tag off also. Then got shipped with the tag. So that tag got missed at least 3 times. It was like, how did the person's like, I feel like I got ripped off because they only paid $4.99 for the sweatshirt. I'm like, I was like, seriously? Like, what does it matter? Did you not pay what you wanted for that sweater? Like, stop it with the stupid, you know what I mean? Just stop it. Why are you being that way?
Wow.
I'll tell you what I've done. I've sold something and then I couldn't find it.
I think
Before I got working on
Yeah, I think that's a very common thing.
Or you sell it twice. You're like, how did I list that twice? Like, I remember selling that, and you see it sell again. You're like, wait, what? How did that happen?
What if something? Okay, say you sold something for $15, okay, and you can't find it. You're like, crap. I'm not going to say I do this, but I'm just throwing it out there. You print a shipping label for it. So you're eating that, okay? If it's like U.S. Postal Service, then you wait a couple days and you message them. And now remember, this isn't trying to get out of giving them their money back, because in a couple days you message and you say, oh, I just, I'm going through my shipped items and this tracking's not showing up. By chance, did it show up to your house? And if they say, no, it hasn't showed up, you're like, oh, good grief. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because your satisfaction is my #1 goal. I'm going to go ahead and refund you the money. And if and when it does show up, which I've never lost anything in the Postal Service, when it shows up, just keep it on me. And I apologize for, I don't know what's going on with it. So they've got their money back. And because people get mad when you sell something that you don't have. So
I can't imagine why.
yeah. But if you do it that way, you know, at least because you don't have an intention of selling something you don't have.
Right.
Okay. As a seller, we all know they may not understand, but it's really not that we're it's down low shit. You're not supposed to go public with that. No, I mean,
this is real.
okay.
This is real.
That's what I was
It would be
thinking.
one
but I wasn't
thing
gonna
if you're
say nothing.
trying not to give them the money back and keep the money, okay? Because that's not the intention at all. You just wait a day or two, you give them their money back, and you give them a reason that they might understand instead of, my place is a mess. I can't find your item.
Chad, let me ask you this though. Like, let's say you didn't have any out of stock defects on your account. Wouldn't you just, like me, I would just cancel the item at that point.
I'm
like,
not
if
worried.
I had a couple and it was going to knock me.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, if I didn't have any, like if I was clean on out of stock defects, like I think I'm clean right now, I would just cancel the order. I would eat it, cancel the order, and move on. But if I was close, like it was going to cause me some trouble, this makes sense. Like, does it matter where you're at on your account?
Because it's about the customer with me, I don't care about the defect, ultimately.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're not talking about something you do. I'm sorry.
Huh?
No,
I don't do all that. I was just throwing it out there. But I don't do that. I don't have labels with nothing to put on it.
Okay.
And it's every time that's happened, which it's only happened like a couple times in 20 years. And by chance it's happened recently. But the customer was super understanding. And, you know, and if I check this out, I will eventually come across that item. I've already got the ticket. I'm going to throw it in there, and then they're going to end up getting it. But they've already gotten their money back, and, you know, and they were fine with that. So,
but you know, Chad, let's temper this story with another story. I remember when you were selling the Mary Kay stuff, and you had like relisted it, and the quantities were off because it relisted with the original quantities. I remember the links you went to make sure your customer got the product. I think.
Oh yeah, dude.
Didn't you buy it from somebody else and then had them send it or something? What'd you do?
I found a Mary Kay consultant and bought them
full retail
price. Lost money on it, but ultimately my customer was, you know, we got Angie frowning upon me.
I wouldn't want Angie frowning on me, man.
It's a little fib, okay? Like, it's one of those little things to where, you know, you don't want to upset the customer. And it's no different than telling a customer that you're going to retrain your staff, you know? That's a little white lie, but ultimately it's to make your customer feel better, you know? So, yeah.
All right, moving on.
Lightning gonna strike me?
Yeah, that was actually the next area that I was going to get into was you know, your inventory systems. You know, what mistakes have you made with your inventory systems? But you guys are kind of getting into that already.
I have done that before. I now have a very, very organized inventory because I have a short amount of time to pull everything that sells every morning. So I'm very organized. But when I started out, that was a big mistake. I would keep stuff just in bins after I listed it, and I'd be digging through everything every time something sold and just waste so much time. Like Lonnie was saying, your systems save you time and make you money.
So
make sure you have organized inventory.
I have a question, Lauren. So you sell a lot of clothing.
Yes.
Do you put your clothing like in the little poly bags when you store them, or is it hanging before it sells?
It's kind of a mixture of both, and I actually have a shelving closet where I put like shoes and more expensive purses and things like that. So just depending what it is, I'll put some stuff in poly bags and put it in bins, but a lot of it I leave hanging, and a lot of it is just on shelves. So
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the reasons why I made the mistake I made last week, was because after I list my clothing, I will fold it up and put it, in one of those clear little bags. And I feel like if it would have been hanging up, I probably wouldn't have made the mistake that I did, right?
Yes.
Like I would have been able to see the whole pattern of what it was. So I don't know. It's just something to think about, I guess.
A lot of stuff too, I won't poly bag. Like certain things, if it's a really basic shirt or something, I will. But a lot of stuff, I buy these airtight, moisture tight bins. I don't have one next to me, or I would show you, but you can find them on sale. I don't know if you guys have Menards where you are. That's where I buy them, where I live. But they go on sale all the time for $10 a piece, but they're normally about $30. But they're totally moisture proof. No humidity can get in. So you can actually fold things and stick them in there, and they come out really nice, and they stay really perfect. They smell great. You can leave them in there for a long time. No moisture will get in. So I use those a lot too.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
I'm OCD with my storage. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah. Now, Lauren, do you pre-weigh your stuff also, or no?
I used to, but I sell a lot of similar things now, so I know how much it will be.
How much.
So I don't really have to. If it's a new thing that I haven't, then I will.
Okay, I gotcha. Go ahead, Jory.
Oh, I was just saying, I misplaced a comic book once that I sold, and then after that, I went pretty OCD with my storage. It's all the A to Z, like A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I try and keep like items in each bin. My unlisted, though, is terrible. It's just random piles of unlisted stuff that I make my way through.
Yeah, that's the thing I had to get on is staying on top of anything new that comes in. You got getting it listed right away. Otherwise, yeah, those death piles, man, they sneak up on you pretty quick. So I've definitely gotten away from that. And yeah, I love doing the new pre-bagging and putting stuff in bins. That's something I've just recently started doing. I just throw everything on racks, and I got racks all over the place, but they're slowly thinning out pretty good, which is great. And then most everything's all in the bin system. I've lost one item one time, and yeah, I hated having to write the customer and tell them, man, you know what, I cannot find this. I don't know what happened to it, and then canceling an order, because I don't know what that actually does to your account. I know you get some sort of a ding for it when you have to cancel the order, but
yeah, that's one of the ones that gets you is an out of stock.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I do the same thing. I put mine in poly bags and put a number on them, and then that corresponds to a number in my my spreadsheet. So when it sells, I look down and says, "Oh, number 327." Okay, that's in. I go get it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's how I do mine too.
Mm-hmm.
So I had something similar happen not too long ago. I couldn't find something, and I messaged the customer, and I let them know. I said, I'm having a hard time locating this. I said I can continue looking for it, or I can cancel the order. So I kind of gave them the option. So they chose to cancel it, and they were really cool about it. But that doesn't look bad on me with eBay, right? Because now I'm allowed to say the customer wants to cancel. So that's another option.
If you can it's true. If you can get the customer to say, yes, I want to cancel it, then it's not your problem.
Yeah.
All right. What are you laughing at, Lonnie?
Oh, no, I'm just reading. Look, we're talking in the chat. Andy has just roasted Chad. And look, Chad, I'm right there with you, dude. I've done some whatever stuff before. Whatever I've talked about, I've regretted it.
Should I talk about how I make money on shipping charges?
No, don't. I mentioned.
Hey, we're not doing that on this channel, man. I know that's.
Anyway, look. I mentioned in the chat, can we have an eBay confession booth? And Lauren said, "Great show idea. This might be something." And somebody's gonna steal it. The eBay confession booth. We have people come in like
by a ton of people.
Sacks on their head, like anonymous. Forgive me.
The unknown reseller. There you go.
Oh, I love it. That's a good idea.
Voice changers and everything.
That would be good for a podcast.
Yeah. It'd be funny too,
Hilarious.
just to have the silhouette of the dark dude in the room with the face blurred out and the deep voice. I used to sell fake video games on eBay.
I said it was fully tested, and I never tested it.
You could have like that light in the room, and then just the face blurred out, like some of like the criminal justice heroes. The voice changer.
Oh god, that sounds good. And by the way, I made an Instagram post. I'm going to be starting a podcast soon. I hope reseller stories, and so if anybody's got some good stories, we'll hook up with you and we'll get it recorded, and then it's going up on iTunes. And Addie is throwing a fit.
So's Evan. He's just been screaming in the other room for most of the night.
Shane, you've been pretty quiet tonight. You got anything you wanna throw out at us, bud?
So, one thing I would say is like I'm on a bin inventory system, and I kind of took some things from Andy that he does, and I do for mine. So the only thing I have hanging is, and this is just my perspective, is unlisted stuff or stuff I think that might wrinkle, like vintage jackets. I will actually put them in a trash bag, tie them in, and hang them. But other than that, it's all bin and poly bagged. And so I have clear poly bags. So I fold my stuff in a way where you can see the tag and the graphic.
No, that's smart.
And I fold it a certain way so I don't have to open the bag, and I put packing tape on the bag already.
No, that's smart.
Awesome. Cool.
When I fold my stuff, like whenever I put it in the poly bags, I always try to fold it so that, you know, the buttons are not on the outside, because I don't want the buttons to break or shatter or anything. So I'm always trying to cover them like with the fabric. But I really like what you said about the tag. That's smart.
Well,
Yeah, that's basically how I do mine.
Yep, exactly how I do that.
Yeah, they've just folded into a thing, and then you can see the tag. Here's my inventory number, so I know exactly where it is. And there's my little "I love me" tag. And then
wait, there's a what?
What?
I love me tag. What is that?
Me tag. You know, hey, thanks for being a great person. Give me good back or else.
You guys
Oh, that's
use
really cool.
poly bags with
I thought you
zippers.
said I love
Use
meat.
the self-seal ones that like have the. I went and got one so you could see, but it just pulls off and it's just like adhesive, and then you can fold it over. I used to use the zipper ones, but now I use the self-adhesive ones because I like them better. I think they're lighter, so.
Yeah, I use that little sticker that I was talking about to close mine. It folds over,
nice.
and then I just use that.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Use that to close it.
Well, either that or I'll use like a little piece of Scotch tape. So I'll order these poly bags off eBay that has a flap, and you can actually put like a T-shirt in it and flap it over. And they're like $7.90 for 100. So I will order 200 to 300 at a time.
Really? I use the Walmart bread bags.
No, really? Oh,
Hey, whatever works, right?
yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. How about with bookkeeping, guys? You guys, how are you guys with bookkeeping and stuff like that? Any mistakes?
I take the fifth.
I do too.
I will not say anything that incriminates me.
I'm good now. I'm good now. 3 months ago, it was horrible.
I have everything. It's organized. Oh, go ahead, Lauren.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm usually good. I'm really behind right now because we've been super busy. I probably have 2 months of entries to put in, but I'm usually really good about it.
Yeah, I was 2 months behind myself. I'm down to a month now, so I'm like, oh, I hate getting behind. I got to get switched over to doing something like GoDaddy or something like that. Cause
Me too. I just don't have the time. I'm doing too much volume now where I can't keep up with it,
Right.
and then I take like an entire day and enter everything for 2 months.
I was
Not fun.
6 months. I was 6 months behind, and I bought GoDaddy bookkeeping for a whole year, and it caught me up in 4 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Awesome. They don't have that here in Canada. Not GoDaddy. They have
Sorry.
GoDaddy, but not bookkeeping. It sucks.
You guys don't get anything fun up there.
I know, it
Besides
sucks.
maple syrup.
Except
Yeah.
maple syrup.
Maple syrup and good beer.
You can't even play fantasy football. You gotta like hack into it.
I know, just Ontario. That's just Ontario.
Lauren,
They like their money here.
all right.
Speaking of that, where are we at right now, Duane?
Oh,
Dwayne and I have a bet on this week.
Oh yeah,
Uh-oh.
you guys do.
We are at 62.56 and 75.32.
No, you got 64.86. So if Dwayne loses by 13.4 points or less, I have to give him. Basically, I'm gonna give him money to buy a bottle of.
Oh hell no! I want it shipped to my door,
man. I'm not shipping a bottle of Fireball to you.
I just kidding, man.
I shipped it over. I shipped it over borders. I think I broke international trade laws.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. That was crazy,
Jory, that collectible bottle is really awesome.
Yeah, collectible bottle.
Yeah, so I'm
You're gonna have
at
to
what did
pay
I?
it, bud.
64.86, and he's at 75.32.
Yeah, you're only
I
down 11. You
have,
got 2 more guys left.
Yeah, I have 3 players remaining, and he has 1. So
He does
we'll
have
see
one?
how it goes.
Yeah, I've got to
has one
have
more,
like
he
the
says.
ultimate game
Oh,
of
you
the
gotta kick
kicker
it.
ever. Like, the dude's
Yeah,
got to kick like
He got
10 field goals.
Kicker's named
50 yarders.
Butt kisser?
No, I just picked him up this week. I pick up a new kicker every week. He's the kicker of the week. Butker. Oh, let Tonya talk. Tonya, let's talk.
Well, I was trying to ask Lauren. Okay, well, I had to ask her in the chat because you guys were talking over me. Okay, so I was just curious how many items she had in her store on eBay.
As of this second, I have 411
Oh my
in my
gosh.
main store.
Wow.
But I usually try to have about 500. This weekend I ran a 40% off sale in my store, so my phone was going nuts when I was up at the lake, like just.
Isn't that awesome? I love it when I do a big sell and I start having a lot of sales.
I was trying to clear out a bunch of stuff, so now I have to put in tons of work to get back up to 500.
Yeah.
Lucky
Now,
me.
are you one of those people, Laura, when you take in, put I guess what I want to say is a drastic sale, like a 40%, do you tend to maybe bump your items up maybe 10% or 15% before you do that 40%? Or do you just
Sometimes I will.
Okay.
This weekend I was actually trying to clear a bunch of stuff so I can get new inventory listed for the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas push.
Gotcha.
And it was just stuff that I'd had in there since like May, April, and I just wanted to get rid of it. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something I've been kind of doing now is in the was it the custom label line? I've actually been putting the original date that I list my items in that line. Because now when I go and take and do the relist or the sell similar, it actually shows the date right there when I take and do it. So now I know that I have a 3-month-old item or a 6-month-old item, or God help me, I got it something that's been sitting there for a year. You know what I mean? Then I know that, okay, hey, this is something that I really need to take in. I gotta have a fire sale or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's something I've been kind of doing just for my own personal benefit.
that's a good idea. I might take that idea from you.
Yeah. And when you do these sales, like how long do you run your sale for? Is it just a couple days, a week, a month?
I usually do it like a Friday morning until a Sunday about this time.
Okay.
Just so that I have time to ship everything out because I work too. I have a full-time job on top of eBay. So I get up at 4 a.m. every morning. I do my shipping and then I list until I go to work. So
yeah. Now I know Nicole used to do something like that too. I don't know if she still does, but like I think she would have like a sale, like do 50% off on Sunday of all of her clothing and stuff. So that's a good way to move your, inventory fast and get some new stuff.
yeah, I don't usually do that often, maybe just a couple times a year. It's just mostly to move stuff out that just isn't moving as fast as I thought it would.
Yeah.
Just to make room for new stuff. So
Yeah, and get some cash too, right?
absolutely. Get my store boosted up in those search rankings.
Right. So I'm curious, I have to ask, I don't mean to steal the show. So I'm curious what you do for your returns. Do you offer the 60 days?
I do 30-day returns.
Okay.
And I list lots of measurements, so I rarely get returns. I maybe get like 1 or 2 a month, so it's not bad. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I started doing the 60-day returns, and I've definitely noticed, I feel like, a boost in my sales. And like I said, I think people are just paranoid that they're going to get all these returns, and it's just not going to happen.
I might boost it to 60-day. It's kind of been on my should I or should I not list.
Yeah, you should try it.
Maybe you talked me into it.
Yeah, but I am never going to do the free returns. I just cannot bring myself to doing that.
Me either. Never. Especially because I sell a lot of new with tag items, and then I know I'm going to get stuff back after people wear it once, and then it's worth half as much if I go to resell it again. So I don't want that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Lauren, do you do most of it in just women's clothes, or is it a mix of women's and men's, or?
I do a mix of everything. It's mostly women's because that's what I find. But if I find good men's clothes, I will pick those up too. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you must be doing well. I've always heard, man, women's clothes are notorious for returns. So they scare me to death.
Yeah,
man, I pick up very, very few women's clothes.
I don't.
Me too. I'm with you.
I don't hardly pick up any. The only 2 items I picked up that are women's is a set of bear paw boots. But other than that, mine's all like usually either unisex or men's vintage clothing.
I pick up women's jeans.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lonnie. I was going to say I do women's jeans as well. That's about it.
I buy women's jeans, and then I put 3 measurements. I put waist, inseam, and rise. And at the level I'm selling, if they want to know more, well, they can't. Tough shit. This is not. I'm not on Rodeo Drive or whatever. I'm on
Rodeo Drive.
This is like $15 pair of jeans, a little bit of take it or leave it involved. I don't have a lot, but I do give those measurements, and I don't have very many returns at all. I've had like 1 non-fit return, and they paid to send it back. And I refunded their money, and they were cool. And then I sold that item again like a week later. So,
yeah, I take 4 measurements on jeans. I do the waist, the inseam, the rise, and then I also measure the cuffs at the bottom because there's always boot. Yeah, the boot cut, the wide leg.
So you don't know if it's boot or flare, huh? Right.
I have a little crib sheet over here, but I still put it there because people want to know. Sometimes.
On women's, I do front rise and back rise because I got asked that question quite often when I was listing jeans. I just put that measurement on all of them that I list.
Wow, I've never had that question.
A back rise? Like,
yeah,
so from that
I've never heard of that either.
Man, Lauren, you need to have your own show.
I never did that either.
Back rise. I never heard of that.
Wow.
You just blew our minds with your back rise, Lauren.
The difference, Lonnie, is she's probably selling like $200 jeans when you're selling $15 jeans. So it might be that. That might be the problem.
I don't mind putting another measurement in it if it'll help.
But I feel like in the last year or so, the jeans prices have gone way down, the resale value of any jeans, even the really high-end ones.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're all
what you do.
Like
You've
20
messed
to
up
50.
the whole system.
Yeah, I sold like a pair of jeans a day for the last 90 days. So yeah, I've like flooded the market, right?
That's awesome.
I barely even sell that for jeans.
I kind of think that's what's going to start happening with shoes, because shoes is getting to be the real big thing now that a lot of people are starting to switch to shoes. And I can really see that shoes are going to start tanking because everybody's going to jump on the shoe train.
They're so hard to find here.
I sell specific shoes.
And
I'm really
for me, you also got to like take into perspective the retail stores. They're constantly lowering their prices to try to match online prices, and when they do that, it's going to tank the price every time.
John, you've been really quiet tonight, buddy. Usually you got all kinds of stuff to say, man. You got anything you want to throw in here tonight, bud?
This has just been a full chat, man. I've been sitting back listening and learning all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, this is pretty rare for you. Usually, you're running about half the show, so not used to seeing you quiet all night.
I like sitting back and learning.
Hey, Lonnie, I got a question. Are you going to resell that coat you won?
Yes,
You got
absolutely.
a smoky deal on that, yeah? Awesome.
So yeah, I won a coat.
That's a beautiful coat.
What's the brand?
The North Face.
Yeah, North Face
Yeah.
coat for $70. You said it's 400.
Yeah, $400 Canadian new.
Yeah.
400 retail. And Candace looked up a similar coat while the auction was going on. She always sits in the chair and she watches on her phone. I watch on my phone. We're both watching, making fun of people and stuff. Like, oh man, I can't believe they're selling that shit. Whatever. We're just making fun of people in chat or whatever. But yeah, that's our little Saturday night thing. But she looked it up and said, yeah, it's probably about a $200 coat, on eBay. So
Nice.
yeah,
That was a really nice coat.
Bye, Ronnie.
See you, Ronnie.
See you guys. This is way past my time. Have a good night, everybody.
See you, bud.
Thanks, Ronnie. See you, bud.
See you, Ronnie.
What time is it where he is?
9:30.
It's 9:30 here. I was going to say, it can't be that late where he is.
Ronnie's just recovering from the beating I put on him in fantasy football this week. So
I'm gonna get stomped, and unless the other team, all their players break their legs. My guys were projected so good, and they all played like garbage. My best players were my kicker and my defense, so not looking good now.
When you got a problem when your best player is your kicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Kind of carrying the team right now.
Hey, you know what, Duane?
yeah, my quarterback put up like 43 points this week, man, and so he was on fire.
Oh my god.
Oh, my quarterback last week
got,
just won the game for me. This week he got like 8 points. How do you go from like 32 to 8? This is terrible.
Hey, Duane, my projected total is 85.92 points. Your projected total is 86.14. We're like, what, 2/10 of a friggin' point apart right here? This is coming down to the wire, man.
I gotta tell you, my players have never reached potential. I mean, every week it's been shit crap for me. So that number doesn't mean nothing.
So wait a second. Do you guys have a bet going on amongst yourselves?
We do.
What is the bet?
Yeah, we do. A bottle of Fireball.
Oh, okay. So there's no more.
But he's short of a player because when we made the bet, he didn't have a full roster, and then he added somebody. So we get to subtract the which that guy, what did he do? Like 13 or 14 points?
Yeah, it was the guy. Basically, I'm buying Duane a bottle of Fireball.
Yeah. Duane needed a handicap.
Yeah, I do. I need every handicap I can get. I think twice this season I've been beaten by people that don't have a full roster. Like Jory beat me with it. Yeah, he didn't even have a tight end. And I don't even remember who the other one was. I think maybe it was Lawrence. He probably beat me.
Yeah. I didn't have a full
person.
roster for a while.
So basically, Jory's kicker beat you.
Yeah, basically. And then Paul Richardson was injured, so I put him on reserve, and the guy goes and gets $22.50 for points for being a wide receiver. Like, sweet, bud. Hamstring must not have hurt you too bad.
All right, guys, we're at an hour and a half. It's probably time to wrap this thing up.
Yeah. We'll go through the panel here real quick. Yeah, like since it's
where's it at?
Oh,
where's it at next week?
Oh, give me a minute. I'll get to it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you had all right, go ahead.
No. Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask is, where's the show going to be next week?
My channel.
On Jory. Okay, so everybody tune in to Jory Good Use Goods channel. We'll go through the thing here real quick. Everybody throw out their parting words and stuff like that. We'll start with Lauren. Any parting words for everybody?
Thanks for having me join. It was really fun hanging out with you guys tonight. Hopefully you'll have me back someday. I learned a lot too. It was fun. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks for having
me. John, got anything for the group, bud?
We're talking mistakes. I would just say don't be afraid to make mistakes because you're gonna make mistakes, and just as long as you learn from them, that's all that matters.
Awesome, definitely, Mr. Fireball.
That would be me, I guess. One of the things I would say is kind of piggybacking John is don't be afraid to make mistakes, but also if you can learn from somebody else.
Get your own advice.
Hey, shut up! Shut up! I said. Try and learn from other people's mistakes too. Listen to people and listen to what they've made mistakes on, and check and make sure that you're not going to make that same type of mistake.
Definitely. Awesome. Lonnie?
So, so you want like a nugget?
Yeah, drop a nugget, just whatever, just a parting thought, man. Whatever you want to throw on this real quick.
Here's my parting thought: is that you're making progress as a reseller when you have some clue that you don't know a lot of stuff. Because like when I first started, I know like in the first year or so, I'm like, wow, I know, man, I got the hang of this. I really know it. But then I hit like a point where I'm like, oh shit, I know that I don't know. Once you get to that point, and then you're willing to open up and accept information and learn, that's when you can really make some progress. So get to that point where you don't know anything, and then you're not afraid to learn. I mean, I know that sounds kind of dumb, but get to the point where you're okay with not knowing anything.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Gary Vaynerchuk just had a great video I happened to catch today, and it was basically, he said he loves to fail. He loves to fail and stuff like that because that's the best place to learn and to grow, and everything else is making mistakes and failing. He said that, Jory, you got any nuggets for us, bud?
Parting words. I'll leave you with some Rickyism. Gotta learn stuff through the denial and error.
It's not rocket appliances, Jory.
Not what? Not rocket
Not
appliances?
rocket appliances, Jory.
And if you can, get 2 birds stoned at once.
Oh my Lord. Shane, any parting words, bud?
Thanks for
all I
watching,
can
guys.
say is what stands between you and your business is what is up here. And that means you have to go into everything with an open mind. If you don't, it's going to hold you back. And so, like, for me, an example would be when I go into a thrift store, I make myself go to a section I normally don't go to just to learn. And that's
awesome.
That's probably the biggest thing to do.
Awesome. Great. Miss Tonya, last but not least.
Okay, well, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we are going to be having another Antique Booth Talk show this Wednesday, and it's going to be on Tam's Place channel. So, and that will be on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Sweet.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, for tuning in, for putting up with us and all our nonsense and everything else. So we definitely appreciate that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. We totally appreciate it. And if you got any other questions or comments for us, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or you can hit us up on the Reseller 6-Pack chat. I think there's a link in the description so you guys can get us there. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it. That's our time. Thanks for watching. And as always, fins up, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.